Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the 43rd World Tournament that has come to Dbz Dokkan battle. Now we'll be going through some team builds, some tips and tricks, the missions, everything you need to know. So if you want to know anything to do with updated team builds or what the best way to run World Tournament is, you're welcome to take a look. With this World Tournament, we've got a brand new Jackie Chun LR, and yeah, looks pretty good. Very interesting looking unit, great animations from what I've seen. That's going to be your ranking reward. We have a new SSR in the form of Champa, which I think is alright. It's cool to get some of these more obscure characters through the World Tournament. And then we did receive Dokkan Awakenings for the Go Tanks, finally, the Tech Go Tanks, which is good, we've needed one. And also, there are a couple missions as always. Now we'll go through all the missions and everything in due time, so don't worry too much about that. But let us discuss the World Tournament itself. So the World Tournament is a somewhat monthly-ish, every 2 months I would say, event, and it's a fantastic way to earn Dragon Stones. You can get over 50 of them just by participating and grinding out a couple World Tournaments. It's a very, very good way to pick up on Dragon Stones and also some Kais and other valuable resources. You need to complete the event. It is in 4 stages: the prelim round, the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final. The prelim round being probably the most irritating round of all. You will be ranked, you will receive an overall ranking, a local ranking, which will be people that are within the time zone that you start playing the tournament, and you will receive rewards for the missions. Now the missions, the hardest one is going to be completing 20 World Tournament wins in a row, and the main reason it's difficult is predominantly because players can struggle quite a lot with maintaining focus, if that makes sense. So just try your best to maintain focus during that period and you should be more than good to go. Now in terms of the ranking, in terms of everything like that, you'll gather that over time, but you want to make top 150 so that you can get a guaranteed copy locally, 150, a guaranteed copy of the LR Jackie Chun. Now there are also some additional missions that are not tied to the World Tournament in the screen, but that are available. Every single day you will receive Dragon Stones for completing a set number of World Tournaments, and also you will receive some Dragon Stones for your first World Tournament, as well as some additional Masters marks for using specific categories. In this one it's Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Crossover, and World Tournament. World Tournament is always one of them, but it's a great way to get Masters marks. You do need to stockpile on those a little bit because LRs cost 70 Masters marks to Dokkan Awaken. So I do highly suggest that you look at running those team categories if possible. Obviously it may require you to adjust your team builds, but that is one of those things. Then there are also the ticket banners. There are 2 guaranteed SSR ticket banners. One features general pool SSRs, the other one features World Tournament SSRs, and then there's a general World Tournament banner which features a couple select SSR World Tournament only characters that are tied to the World Tournament category. There's a couple LRs on there as well, and that's how you can grab some of the older LR World Tournament characters. So if you're ever interested in picking up like the LR Tien and Chaozu, or the LR Yamcha and Puar, the only way is to summon on this World Tournament banner. Now that we've kind of covered the basics, let's talk about team builds. So there are a couple of team builds that I always run through. I give you a free-to-play option, I give you a somewhat adequate option, I give you some scaling options through which you can go through that will serve you all more than fine. All of these options will be able to do the highest difficulty. They will be able to give you performance. So they're all fairly well put together. The free-to-play team hasn't really changed. It'll never change. Now the best friend support to take is going to be the physical Broly. The physical Broly with his Easy A is now the best World Tournament unit, I believe. Just full disclaimer, of course, please make sure that he is Easy Aid. He must have a max level of 140, otherwise he's not going to be nearly as effective. So in terms of the free-to-play team, it hasn't changed, and I don't think it will for a while. This is definitely the most effective free-to-play team. If you don't have the tech log in you, or you don't want to ETA him, then you can simply go and grab a whole bunch of any kind of key support, and you should be able to handle it adequately. Generally speaking, for those who don't know, the number one thing that you want to look for when you are building World Tournament teams is the attack all function. And by having the attack all function, you're able to clear out the mass amounts of enemies that you'll be facing. And this is super important on the higher difficulties because the World Tournament units can hit very hard. So if you were just watching on screen, I did just show you how to find units that have that function. Once we get into the summonable teams, one of the prime or premier units is going to be the Super Tech Jocko. He automatically stuns the opposition when he enters the battlefield, which is incredibly helpful. This is more a super team based. You can use any generic all types or super lead in place of Goku, and you can run units like Piccolo, Jocko, Krillin, and you can run some units that are interesting like Super Saiyan Gotenks, and you can also run the LR Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. I've put Physical Chaozu in here just to show you a couple different AoE options, but you can easily replace Physical Chaozu with Krillin or any other super based AoE unit. Then the next team, this team is almost as good as the best team now. In fact, I might probably prefer this team, but I didn't want to change up the best team too much. So with Vegeta as a lead, you actually have the ability to run 4 of the best AoE units. With Vegeta as a lead, you have the ability not only to run almost every AoE unit, but you actually have the ability to run, for me, what I consider to be some of the best AoE units. Under Vegeta, who is a super class 100% lead, you have the ability to run Strength, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, Physical Super Saiyan Broly, you have the ability to run Turles, and you have the ability to run Piccolo, and you can even run Krillin if you wish to, which makes it a very, very super effective team that can be super duper prime. Now the best team hasn't changed too much, it's only improved with the EZA to the Physical Broly. You can switch in this Strength cell if you wish, I always mention that just so people know. But I still think this is overall the best team. The units operate at the highest set of numbers, and they tend to have the best time. Remember that Broly is a full power and movie bosses lead, so you're not going to be able to run units like the Giant Ape Vegeta or the Strength Piccolo. But either way, the team still functions really, really well and gets the job done very nicely. So I'm super happy with this team. I still think it's probably the best for me. I probably would just say place another support and you'll do fine. It does technically have less AoE than the other team that I built with Vegeta, but it runs at a higher number overall, being full 170%, barring Jocko, who's obviously just there for the stun. So for me, I think it's the best. Now in terms of support memory, there's not too much to choose, and in terms of support items, we're going to stick with the classic World Tournament support items in the form of Ghost Ushers, King Yemas, Bubbas, and of course Emperor Pilafs. You want to use the Ghost Ushers to skip the opposition's turn if you feel at danger, and you can use the King Yema in combination with either a Emperor Pilaf or with a Bubba to dramatically improve your chances of survival in the later stages. You won't need to apply it early on, but the Bubba or the Emperor Pilaf will prevent the enemy from super attacking, and the King Yema will massively reduce their damage. When you get to the later difficulties, like the higher ranked difficulties, you're going to need to combine these items because any type of type disadvantage super attack will hit you very hard. But beyond that, that's it. Like I said, the best friend now to take is the Easy Aid Broly, but please make sure that he is Easy Aid. It's probably the best point of call to use him, but you do just have to be a bit careful selecting him. But it's the same principle for the Strength LR Broly. You do need to make sure that he is, also Easy Aid. So it's not like there's, how can I say, any difference really. Beyond that, everything's fine. So a couple of tips and tricks for the World Tournament. The person that chooses the lowest value tile will move first. So if you choose a tile that's a 1 or 2, you'll move before the unit that chose, or the enemy that chose a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and hopefully that can help you understand. If you choose a higher tile, you will move last in the turn. All rounds consist of the same amount of turns. In terms of the preliminary round, all you have to do is beat one single enemy, and you can actually just kind of hang out. I use the term hang out. You can avoid confrontation with the other enemies as best as possible. They should fight each other, and you will clear the round. You do not have to come first in the prelim round, you only have to come top 2. So that's a nice way to save items. A lot of the times fighting these 4 enemies can drain a lot of items, and it just makes running a lot of world tournaments very tedious. Obviously running away also makes it very tedious, but it is what it is. If you see the world tournament building being damaged in any way, shape or form, then picking up purple capsules in those rounds will give you additional Master's Mark medals. So if you're looking to farm some Master's Marks and you notice that the world tournament building is damaged, then it's going to be a great time for you to pick up some of the additional Master's Marks. So remember to do that if you're farming or trying to catch up on characters, because as a new player it's always going to be difficult to try and get a lot of Master's Marks. And that's basically it. As I mentioned with these support items, make sure that you use these support items appropriately. Combine Emperor Pilafs with King Yemas, and combine Bubbas with King Yemas, and Ghost Usher when you feel truly unsafe. But that is basically it. All you have to do is grind. I myself do roughly 30 to 34 world tournaments whenever it comes out. That generally gets me the rewards I want. Sometimes I go deeper, sometimes I don't. There are now some unique titles that drop from the rankings, and if you're interested you can obviously grind those. But that's it from me. Wish you guys good luck. I'll see you next time. Bye.